Hello, thank you for joining me for today's language lesson as we continue to look at sentence analysis, moving into case 5. So if you recall, in sentence analysis, we always went on our hunt first for an action. And of course, many of us know that that action we also call a verb, and not all verbs are going to be actions. We also have those linking and helping verbs. But today we'll just focus on our sentence analysis, where in case 4 we had two people performing one action and one thing receiving that action. Today we can start to look at what if multiple people perform an action and then multiple things receive that action. And so in our first example, we'll look at two people performing an action and then two things receiving that action. Our sentence here says Miss Anastasia and Mr. Richard check SRA and math. So if we put on our hunter's hat and go on that hunt for an action, can anyone tell us what is that action? Check is our action. So underneath our red sphere, we'll put the word check. And then our second thing we'll ask, who is it that checks? In this case, we have two people, and that would be Miss Anastasia and, which can go just in the middle of our two black circles representing kind of that noun family, Mr. Richard. So now that we know that Miss Anastasia and Mr. Richard check, what is it that they check? What's now receiving that action? We have two things. We have the SRA and math. Making sure that I have a period at the end, capital at the beginning, because we are still creating sentences. So we've analyzed our sentence. We've broke it up into its three parts. Our action being performed, check. Who's performing that action, Miss Anastasia and Mr. Richard, and what's receiving that action, SRA and math. Now let's look at another case where we have multiple people performing one action and multiple things receiving that action. Mr. Richard being a huge superhero fan, we have some Marvel Avengers, and in our picture and in our sentence, the Hulk, Thor, and Iron Man defeat Loki, Ultron, and Thanos. So we'll, of course, go on that hunt to look for our action. Can anyone tell what our action is? And in this case, it is defeat. So we'll go ahead and put that underneath our red circle, our verb or action. We can ask ourselves that second question, who is it that defeats? And we have the Hulk, Thor, and Iron Man. Now, all of our people performing this action, we can superimpose and move around. It could have been Thor, Hulk, and Iron Man, Thor, and the Hulk. Can transpose and move those around, and our sentence would still mean the same thing. And then the Hulk, Thor, and Iron Man defeat what, or defeat who? So that who's receiving the action can sometimes be a what, it can sometimes be a who. So in this case, it's who do they defeat? And we have three again, so that's Loki, Ultron, and we'll float in the middle there, Thanos. So we've analyzed this sentence. We've broke it up into its three parts. Our action being performed, defeat. The people performing that action, the Hulk, Thor, and Iron Man. And then the Hulk, Thor, and Iron Man defeat who? Loki, Ultron, and Thanos. And so your choice when you get to practicing and analyzing your sentence, if you only want to have 2 people performing an action with only 2 things receiving, if you want to have 3 people performing that action with 3 people receiving, your choice to be creative. And so in my example, I did have 3 people performing an action. Harlow, Dad, and Mom made a snowman, snow angel, and a snow fort. So here my action is made. Who's performing my action? Harlow, Dad, and Mom. And in this case, it's a what receiving the action. Remember when we had our superheroes, that was a who receives the action. In this case, it's a what receiving my action. And that's a snowman, snow angel, and a snow fort. So have some fun and be creative, creating your Case 5 sentence analysis sentences. Remember, it just needs to be 2 or 3 people performing an action with then 2 or 3 things receiving that action.